Tonight, everything you think you know about this love story is about to flip. A ring glints under the summer sun, a heart makes a risky choice, and a proposal changes the game. Stay with me because the last seconds will leave you breathless. The screen fades in with soft ocean waves rolling onto the shore, the sky painted gold, and the sound of a distant song drifting through warm air. We don't see faces, only silhouettes walking along the water, fingers almost touching, then pulling back as if the tide itself is tugging them apart. The camera passes a porch swing that creaks as it moves, a tangle of fairy lights still glowing even in daylight, and a half-melted ice cream on the steps, forgotten in a rush. A silver ring catches the light for one bright second, then slips out of frame as if it belongs to a secret we're not ready to name. The voiceover comes in low and steady, the kind that makes you lean closer. This is the summer where promises collide with truth. We feel it in the way the wind lifts the edges of a letter on a kitchen table, in the way the screen door snaps shut and echoes down the hallway. There are no faces here, but the feelings are clear love, fear, hope, and the weight of a choice too big for a quiet beach town. The camera sweeps across the water again, and our view blurs with sun flare. We hear laughter from last summer layered over a quiet breath from this one, like memory and now are trying to speak at the same time. A hand runs across a stack of seashells, stopping on the smallest one, the one that looks like a heart that cracked and then healed but not in the same shape as before. The voiceover whispers that endings are not always the end, and beginnings are not always kind. A quick flash, two sets of footsteps in the sand. One set steady, one unsure, both moving toward the same point where the tide erases everything. The porch light blinks as clouds pass in front of the sun, and a storm far out on the horizon sends a dark line across the water, a warning that doesn't need words. We drift through the house without seeing anyone, but the signs are there, a sweatshirt thrown over a chair, a phone screen lighting up with a name we recognize, a bouquet of wildflowers tied with a ribbon that looks a little rushed, a little brave. The voice says that summer has a heartbeat and tonight it's racing. A ring box opens, we only see the hinge and the corner of velvet, and then it snaps shut as if even the box knows this moment is not simple. There is a pause, a breath, a quiet that holds both hope and dread. The music climbs, not loud, but close, like it's in your chest. Then the camera glides to a window where raindrops begin to dot the glass even though the sky is still bright outside. This is the feeling before the first drop hits the deck, before someone speaks a word they can't take back, before a promise turns into a decision that will change the shape of every summer after. We pass the fridge and see a magnet holding a photo from a day when everything looked easy. We pass the hallway mirror and catch a flash of movement that could be anyone, could be the one you want or the one you fear losing. The voiceover says the truth is coming, and it will arrive like the tide at night. Quiet, steady, impossible to stop. The ring appears once more, this time set down on a folded napkin. The napkin set on a plate, the plate set on an old wooden table that has seen every fight and every kiss. A letter sits under the ring, and the corner has a smudge where a tear fell and dried. The music drops out. For a long breath, there is only the hum of the house, the call of a gull, the pull of the ocean, and the sound of footsteps on the porch boards, sure and fast. The screen cuts to black, and a whispered promise threads the dark. When the sun goes down, someone will ask the question that changes everything. The title burns in like sunset on water. The Summer I Turned Pretty, Season 3, Episode 12, and beneath it, a single line of text slides in like a tide mark on sand, the proposal, twist ending. The last shot is the ring again, but closer now, so close we can see a tiny scratch that looks like a lightning bolt. It turns slightly, catching a sharp ribbon of light, and the voice says, soft but sure, if you think you know who says yes, think again. The music hits one low note, the screen stays black, and all that's left is the sound of the waves counting down to the choice. Asterisk, the sound of summer lingers. But it's different now, no longer carefree, no longer endless. The camera glides slowly through the empty beach house, rooms that once felt like laughter itself now holding a kind of fragile silence. We don't see faces, we only see the remains of choices, a beach towel abandoned across the banister, A phone charger plugged in but dangling, waiting for a call that hasn't come. On the kitchen counter, a glass of lemonade sweats onto a coaster shaped like a seashell, the ice cubes half melted as if someone walked away in the middle of a sentence. Outside, the sky is bright, but inside the house the shadows stretch long and uneasy, like secrets refusing to stay buried. The voiceover drops in, slow and thoughtful. Every summer has a breaking point. Every story has the moment where everything that was easy becomes hard, and everything that was hidden demands to be seen. The screen cuts to the boardwalk, the carousel turning in the distance, its music faint and haunting, spinning too slowly for joy. A pair of shoes dangle off the edge of the pier, toes brushing the air above the water, but the body they belong to is never revealed. The camera only shows the restless movement, the tapping, the hesitating like someone waiting for courage to arrive. Letters and texts float across the screen like faint whispers. One is left unsent, 3 words blinking, I can't choose. Another shows a message delivered but not read, the timestamp glowing, 2:17 a.m. The silence between them is louder than any fight. The voiceover leans in, hearts are heavy, lines are drawn. And this summer, someone will finally cross the line. We move through a montage of faceless fragments, a hand gripping a steering wheel too tightly, a bedroom window open, curtains blowing out into the salt air. A pair of sandals kicked off in the sand, one upright, one on its side, like even they can't agree which way to lean. In the distance, thunder rumbles, faint but steady, like the sound of an argument too quiet to hear but impossible to ignore. The screen flickers with scenes of memory, Belly's laughter echoing from last season, Conrad's serious stare, Jeremiah's easy grin, but none of them are shown directly now. Instead, their presence is suggested through details, a hoodie on the arm of a chair, its fabric familiar. A sketchbook left open on a desk, a doodle of waves and initials half erased. A broken bracelet lying in the sand, its beads scattered like a promise snapped in two. The narration grows sharper. She thought she could hold them both, but love is not the ocean. It will not stretch for everyone. It will pull, it will break, and it will leave someone behind. The music swells, a slow build like a heartbeat, as we see shadows crossing paths on the beach. 2 figures moving toward each other, one stopping short, the other walking on, then the tone shifts. The summer light brightens again, but it feels artificial, too clear. A bouquet of flowers sits in a vase, its petals fresh but trembling as if from the storm outside. The camera pans to a calendar pinned on the fridge, several dates circled, but the ink smudged as though changed again and again. One date has a star drawn next to it. The voiceover drops to a whisper, the moment is coming. The choice cannot be delayed any longer. We hear laughter again, but this time it's hollow, echoing across an empty basketball court. A ball rolls across the floor and bumps against a pair of feet we don't see fully. The shot lingers and then fades into the image of the ocean at night, moonlight cutting a silver path across black water. A hand skims the surface, scattering the reflection into shards of light. The narration presses in, 2 brothers, 1 heart, and a summer that refuses to stay simple. The episode's tension builds with each cut. We see the open ring box once again, only this time it sits on the passenger seat of a car. The key is in the ignition, the engine waiting. The car doesn't move. The choice doesn't come. Instead, the camera pulls back, showing the car surrounded by empty space, headlights glowing like questions no one wants to answer. Finally, the music drops low, almost gone, as the voiceover delivers the promise. Before this summer ends, someone will ask the question that no one is ready to answer. And the answer will break everything open. The screen lingers on the ring. The storm clouds rolling closer, and the faint sound of footsteps approaching. Then silence, pure, aching silence, just long enough for the audience to hold their breath. And in that silence, the house creaks, the waves crash harder, and the season that began with sun and laughter now leans into its sharpest, most dangerous turn. The screen fades in with the sharp glint of metal, a ring spinning slowly on a wooden table, catching fragments of light before toppling onto its side. The sound is small, but it lands like thunder. The voiceover returns, low and steady, Every story leads to a moment where time itself holds its breath. Tonight, this is that moment. The camera shifts to a porch at dusk, lanterns glowing faintly as the sky deepens to violet. The air is heavy still, as though the world knows what's about to be asked. A chair scrapes softly against the floorboards, slow, deliberate, almost nervous. We never see who sits, but we see a pair of hands resting on knees, trembling just enough to betray what's at stake. In one palm, a small box, velvet worn at the edges. The thumb presses into it like it's both an anchor and a weapon. Cut to the ocean. The tide rising, waves curling higher than before, each crash timed with a growing pulse in the soundtrack. The voiceover lingers. For one, this question is freedom. For another, it is a trap. And for the one who must answer, it is everything. The camera swings to the house windows, catching shadows inside. Two figures move in different rooms, one pacing, one still, each silhouette drawn tight with expectation. A letter lies torn in half on the table, words smeared by water stains. We only glimpse fragments, forever. Can't let go, choose. The pieces don't fit together, but the meaning is clear enough. As the camera pulls back, the torn paper flutters from the breeze of the open door, falling near the ring box. The box shifts, almost sliding toward the broken words, as if fate itself is pulling them into one story. The sound of footsteps, fast, heavy echoes through the hallway. The music halts, cut short, leaving only the sound of breathing. The camera follows those steps to the edge of the porch. A hand grips the doorframe, knuckles pale, holding back both fear and urgency. Then a slow exhale. The voiceover deepens. This is the edge of everything. Step forward and nothing will ever be the same. The box opens. We don't see the ring, yet we see the hinge bending, the velvet spreading apart like a secret being uncovered. Then, finally, the diamond or stone catches the last light of the sun, a flare that blinds the frame for a heartbeat. Gasps overlap with silence. We hear the faint break in someone's voice, the kind of sound that doesn't need words to be understood. Quick cuts, a bouquet of flowers slipping from a hand, petals scattering across the porch. A phone buzzing with an unread message left unanswered. A necklace clasp being unclipped, sliding into a pocket. The reflection of the ring glowing in a window pane as if even the house is watching. The proposal has been made. We do not hear the words, only the weight of them in every object, every shadow, every pause. The camera lingers on the ring, suspended in the air between trembling hands. The music swells again, urgent, racing. Then another cut, a second figure standing just beyond the porch light, shadow, sharp, and unmoving. We don't see a face, but we see tension in every line of their body, the choice locked between them. The voiceover whispers, one heart has been offered. But the question remains, who will claim it? The storm that hovered on the horizon now cracks open with lightning. Thunder rolls, and the wind lifts the curtains inside the house. The candlelight flickers, almost extinguishing, then fighting to stay alive. The camera cuts again and again, too fast now, bare feet running across wet sand, hands slamming against a closed door, the ring trembling in its box, eyes we never see but feel burning in the dark. Finally, silence returns. The proposal hangs unanswered. The shot lingers on the box open, waiting. The camera pulls back, further and further, until the porch is just a dot in the vast summer night. The voiceover delivers the final blow. The question has been asked. But the answer? The answer could destroy more than it saves. The music rises one last time before cutting out completely. All that remains is the faint sound of waves crashing, steady, inevitable. The last image is of the ring again, its light flickering like a dying star. The screen cuts to black, leaving the audience suspended, caught in the same silence as the characters, waiting, dreading, needing to know. Asterisk, the screen is black, but the silence is restless. A single sound breaks through, the tick of a clock, slow, deliberate, echoing like footsteps down a long hallway. Each tick grows louder until it fades into the low roar of the ocean, waves pounding against the shore with an urgency that feels alive. Then, in a single flash of lightning, the screen ignites with fragments of what we've been waiting for, the ring trembling between two hands, A letter flying away in the wind and shadows colliding on the beach. None of it is clear. All of it is vital. The voiceover returns, sharper now, pulling us forward. One question has been asked, but the answer is still locked in silence. And silence can destroy more than any word ever could. The camera sweeps across the house, now shuddering in the storm. Rain strikes the windows in frantic bursts. The porch swing thrashes in the wind, moving so violently it feels like it will tear away. Inside, the flowers from before lie scattered on the floor, petals clinging to the wet wood, each one glowing like a memory broken apart. We move quickly now, the shots coming in waves, faceless but full of meaning. A pair of hands clutch the edge of a dresser, as if holding on to the world itself. A necklace chain snaps, the pendant rolling into shadow. A phone lights up with an incoming call, the name glowing, but no one picks up. The call fades, leaving the room darker than before. The storm rages louder. The music surges, violins clashing with drums, until every heartbeat in the audience feels pulled into the chaos. Then everything stops. The screen shifts to slow motion. Rain drips from the porch roof in perfect drops. The ring, still open in its box, sits on the table, the stone catching the last flicker of a candle about to die. A figure approaches, feet bare, steps cautious. The hand reaches toward the ring but hovers, trembling, refusing to close the distance. The voiceover whispers, one choice, one future, one love that cannot survive untouched. The pace picks up again. We see overlapping flashes of both brothers, Conrad's shadow, stiff with silence, Jeremiah's outline breaking under emotion, but never their faces. Their presence is in the objects, a sweater soaked through by the rain, a bracelet slipping into the sand, a door slammed so hard the frame shakes. A voice shouts in the distance, muffled by thunder, but the words are swallowed by the storm. The camera pulls back from the house, the light inside flickering like a lighthouse on the edge of collapse. The storm swallows everything, the sea, the sky, the silence. Then, just as suddenly, stillness. The music fades to nothing. The rain slows. We hear one breath, one exhale, as if someone finally spoke an answer. But the words are never revealed. The screen cuts to black. On the black screen, white text appears, timed with a heartbeat. One proposal, one answer, one ending that changes everything. The voiceover delivers the final line. Steady, haunting, the summer I turned pretty? Season 3, Episode 12. The proposal twist ending. The trailer's last moments are crafted for suspense. We see the ring one final time, not in a hand, not in the box, but lying in the sand at the edge of the tide. The water washes over it, pulling it slightly, but not taking it away. A symbol of choice left unfinished, of love still undecided. The camera lingers. The tide rushes again. The screen cuts out mid-wave, unfinished, unresolved, silence. Then a sharp rush of music and the final words bold on screen. Who will she choose?